Okay, welcome back everyone. I'm Martin, and this is episode 2 of the Slim.AI and SlimDevOps live stream. Joining me this week is Pieter again. Hello, Pieter.
Hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Testing, the big moment.
Hopefully people will confirm that there are indeed audio coming through. I think there is this. Oh, no, there's not. I don't believe it. Oh, no, please talk. Yeah, no, it's fine. It is. You're just quiet. Right. So in which case, I'd like to invite John, who's our CEO, to just briefly introduce himself.
Hey, I'm John, co-founder and CEO of Slim.AI. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, John. And Kyle.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle. I'm the technical co-founder of Slim.AI, and I also created DockerSlim.
Thanks, Kyle. Right, so this week we're going to have a little sneak peek at DevX Conf. But before we get into that, we just wanted to go over some of the feedback from our last live stream, where we set a bit of homework for the community. Some of you who have responded to that. So we asked developers to go and create a container or slim an existing container of one of their applications or an application that they like and use, and share their experiences with us. And so far I'm aware of developers working with .NET who've accepted this challenge and are. I see Eric in our chat from the R podcast, who's been working on a data science app. And I've also seen some devs who are working with Firebase, looking to create containers and slim their Firebase containers. So if you didn't get that call to action, please do create a container of an application that you create or one that you really love. And you'll find links to our Discord in the panels below. And share your experiences with us. We're keen to learn about new language ecosystems and frameworks. And there was one sort of misconception that we've seen come around a couple of times. And I know it's something that John wanted to touch on. So a few people have started by trying to slim like a base container, either of an OS itself, a trim Ubuntu, or something with a language in it like Rocker, which is the R base. And so I've been explaining to people, well, no, you don't start by slimming your base container, you slim your application. But John, you had like an interesting idea about a use case for slimming a base container.
Thanks, Martin. It's not so much about slimming the base container per se, but the key point is that in the end, you want to get the smallest possible container, right? That's organized and built well, that has your app plus your base image in it, right? And that's the sort of goal to get toward a production-ready container. But in the path to getting there, you need to be able to apply optimization to any of the layers. And of course, any of the layers includes the parts that were the base image part of the container. And so early in the life cycle of creating a base image, it might be useful for you to try slimming the base image just to get your configuration right, to make sure nothing's sort of wacky about how you built the image, and that you found a successful way to optimize to the point where you can see the smallest rudiments of that container working. Like for instance, after you've tried to slim the base image, can you still access and use all of the tools inside it, like your bash shell or any of the typical Linux tools if it's Linux? And for the case of the Rocker container, the R container, we've been doing a lot of work inside Slim, helping to figure that out, and it's coming along actually, and we should have some good stuff soon. But in that case, you'll want to be able to slim the core base image that includes the R application, and to make sure that after you've been able to reduce it, it still loads, R turns up, you can see it in the command line and it's all working. You'll go back and and build your app on top of the fat container, because that's more conducive to low developer friction. But you'll have the knowledge that you were able to reduce it and get something working, at least up into the point of where the app was included. So it gives you a head start on the optimization process later. So it's, but really the target is getting that app plus base image working in a slim and optimum way.
Nice. And I think we're just going to write up that little use case of like creating the MVP of your language ecosystem, your hello world, just to prove the very basics are working before you get into sort of a whole app slimmed container. So also, we've recently had a new release of DockerSlim, Kyle. Could you just summarize what's new, interesting, and unusual in the new release of DockerSlim?
There's always a number of bug fixes. They never end. And in terms of enhancements, there are a number of enhancements around visibility and what the X-ray command does. It does a better job collecting information about the container images. It provides more useful information, and it does a better job with new types of containers. And there's also a number of build-related enhancements, and what you can do when you're optimizing the container image. For example, when the build command runs, you have a whole bunch of HTTP probes running. But the new release, you can also, quote unquote, orchestrate external applications. And in some cases, it can be just a shell script or a bunch of shell scripts, but your tests, integration tests or end-to-end tests that you can point at the container as well. So you run the internal HTTP probe tests, and then you can also run your application tests, and that results in a much better container, or in a better validated container.
Right. Cool. So what do you see that users of DockerSlim are most requesting from DockerSlim at the moment?
There's one of the recently requested capability is actually related to probing. Somebody wanted to run their probes, and then they also wanted to run scripts in the target container using the exec command. When you use Docker, you can do Docker exec, and then you can execute commands in the container. And they wanted to run the probe and then also run shell commands to interact with the application from within the container. And they didn't want to choose one or the other; they wanted to use both. So,
right.
So there's there's a trend towards having more advanced interactions with the container, with the containers when they're optimized.
Excellent.
I think it's useful to point out. Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, because there's a natural desire to make sure that the containers that are optimized are well tested and ready for production.
Yeah, and if you run those tests during the time when DockerSlim is observing the container so that it can make better, more informed decisions about which parts of the container to preserve in the output container. That's the reason why we have probes and testing and all these facilities. It's about informing DockerSlim more about what to keep and what to throw away.
Terrific. What have you been working on recently, Kyle?
There's a number of, some of those enhancements made it to the latest release, but a lot of the enhancements around the X-ray command and the visibility it provides, the surfacing additional facts, processing container, different types of containers. For example, the containers that are created with build packs, they don't look like regular containers. They're structured in a different way, and they run, but there are certain things that don't exist there, and certain things that do exist don't necessarily make sense. For example, for some reason, the instruction information from the build packs, they lack real timestamps. So they have these placeholder timestamps, and it looks like the image layers were created 49 years ago or something like that. and the labels that they generate, they don't necessarily fit the kind of the standard format for labels that you would normally see in Docker. For example, in some cases they're so big that they're more than 65K in size. If you try to put them in a Docker file, they just the Docker file you wouldn't be able to build it if you would try to recreate the same image using the standard ways of doing it. So there are some interesting gotchas there.
Okay, thank you for that. And I saw Takov commented, and he says he's wondering if he says there is a massive Docker orientated community, and he cites Linux Server IO, which would be interested to see how the Dockers could be optimized with these tools. So Takov, I don't know if you're involved in Linux Server IO, but I have experimented slimming a number of containers over there. And I was going to reach out to Alex to find out how to sort of kick off slimming some containers over there and helping the community contributors who are maintaining those containers get on board with DockerSlim in order to optimize their containers. So if you're involved or interested in this, please join our Discord. The URL is above my head. If you go to the bottom of that page, you'll find a link to our Discord. Introduce yourself there, and we'll get you hooked up with all the right people, and we're keen to make that happen for sure. Right, so that's a little roundup on sort of community stuff. I'm going to hand over to Pieter now.
Cool, great. Well, yeah, another thing in the community realm is this week will be part of the DevX conference, which is happening at DevXConf.org. I can post the link in the chat in a second too, but we're pretty excited to be part of this conference. It's being sponsored by a company, GitPod, who a lot of you I'm sure know, and then a big other group of sponsors, and we're a silver sponsor for Slim.AI. And actually, Kyle is going to be one of the key speakers. Kyle will be speaking on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's 1 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, I was wondering, Kyle, could you give us a little preview on what you plan to be speaking about at the DevX conference?
Yeah, this is kind of related to what I was just talking about. People using DockerSlim to build containers for production. You want to make sure that the containers you take to production are ready for it, and with DockerSlim or without DockerSlim, and there's actually a lot involved to getting something to production. And you start with something simple, and it doesn't take a long time to create, and then it feels like you're done, but in reality, you end up spending a long time. So you end up spending 80% more time, or even more after that, trying to make sure that the containers are ready, that the requirements and they're they have everything that need to be there, and lots of little things. And some of it is environment specific, and different organizations have their own challenges, complexity related, but others are pretty universal. There's a bunch of gotchas that you deal with, and that's what I talk about. Some of the gotchas and the steps to get over them, and going through a journey, looking for a container image on the internet, and then taking it through this journey of looking at the gotchas, making improvements, and looking at the different options to get to the final outcome.
Cool. And as somebody who's worked with Docker for a while, do you think it's more difficult in a containerized environment? Do you think that this has got like this developer experience of going through and fixing, getting things ready for production? Do you think it's more complex these days than it ever has been?
It's a different set of challenges, because if you're an application developer now, you need to do a lot of different things that you didn't have to deal with. And you might be an application development expert, but then you have to learn about those the internals of the tech that you're dealing with, and that's not always straightforward.
Cool. Yeah,
that's kind of the side effect of the flip side of the DevOps manifesto. You build it, you run it, and then you have to deal with the consequences. You're running it, and now you're responsible for a lot of different things yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally makes sense. John, I was wondering maybe you could tell us a little bit about why you thought it was important for us as Slim.AI to be involved with the DevX conference.
Well, the mission of Slim.AI is to help developers reduce friction in how they create, build, run, and deploy cloud native applications. And Kyle and I have been working together for a long time before Slim, and building lots of cloud native apps and dealing with the transition toward this DevOps world we're in now, and found that developers were struggling more and more with doing the things that Kyle was describing, just being productive participants in the new cloud native app delivery workflow. So we just want to be able to help developers kind of with their struggles and the things we've learned that are difficult, and DevX conference is an opportunity for just to get in front of developers, hear their pain, learn more, and talk about what we're doing, and hopefully help them. And there'll be a decent audience there. I think the projections like 2,000 developers will be involved in the conference. We know that Gitpod's behind it. We think that's pretty cool stuff too, and so we jumped at the opportunity to kind of share and learn and help.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. I saw BigPod, who's a .NET developer in here, was talking about bringing up Gitpod instances. So yes, Gitpod are one of the organizers behind the DevX conference, and I'm sure a number of you here that are watching this are developers, and you will benefit from taking part or watching the presentations at DevX in order to find more efficient, smarter workflows in your day-to-day lives.
Indeed.
And you can bring DockerSlim to Gitpod using tasks in the Gitpod YAML config file, by the way.
That's super cool. And the DevX conference also has a Discord channel as well. I know we have a lot of Discord channels, but they have a Discord server as well that we have an active channel on. So if you guys are going to be watching the conference, feel free to join us over there. We'll be active and tweeting about it and following along with all the speakers. So that's all we have on the DevX conference. Martin, back to you.
Well, I think it's our opportunity to find out from John what the origins of Slim.AI were and where we're headed. What's the ambitions for the future?
Cool. Well, I kind of gave a brief intro during the answer to the last question. We're a company that's mission and purpose is to help developers in the cloud native world become more productive, happier, experience less friction, build software. Developers just want to code. They want to get software built. They get their value and their love expressed through their ability to build applications, get them running for users. And there's a lot of friction and complexity and lots of different tools you have to understand. And Kyle and I a while back, just kind of took it as our mission to help solve, and that was the origins of Slim.AI. Kyle is the sort of inventor and author and coder of DockerSlim. We see that as a cool core piece of tech that underpins a lot of what we do, but it's really just the beginning for Slim.AI. We're building from that and building and expanding that, and have a vision for how we think we can deliver value, and it comes in multiple forms. So of course, DockerSlim is an open source project. It always will be, and will become and continue to be a cornerstone of our tech. And we want to work with developers every day to help them not only understand it and use it and benefit from it, but also to be able to help us, build cool stuff in it and with their help. And we want to foster that, building a company like Slim.AI and our ability to have more resources available to us to do that better is really exciting for us. So we're, have been since the beginning committed to that. We will always be committed to that, and it will just get better. And then another part of that is we understand that in order for us to really kind of continue to promote and get our value, all of these ideas we have out and proliferated, we needed a platform. So since the beginning at Slim, we've been developing a SaaS platform that builds from and extends the capabilities of DockerSlim, but also adds a whole bunch of new capabilities and workflows so that we can bring a rich developer experience to the desktop of developers, so that they can not only benefit from all the cool stuff we've been doing in DockerSlim, but also build us into their workflows, have awesome visualizations and tools and orchestrations that reduce the overhead and friction and work required to get some code into a container and push that into prod. And so we're actually in a pre-beta with our tech. That's also free stuff. We don't have anything for sale at DockerSlim because we're about building value and sharing that value for a while. So, and we will always have free value in the form of SaaS for our users. So you'll get all the open source stuff and all the free stuff. Eventually, we have ambitions to build a commercial product. We are a commercial company, but it's all about building great value for developers right now and proliferating it. And so we're on that journey. We're we've got a company now and people and engineers, and we're continuing to grow, and so far so good with all that. And thanks to all the developers and all the folks who contribute with us. I mean, that's the opportunity to give our appreciation for the amount of interest and help we've gotten over the years is awesome. So thanks.
Indeed. And that's why we had that little call to action to get some more developers using the tools, because as the platform opens up and we can make it available for you to use, then we're keen to do that, to get your feedback on that as well, in addition to DockerSlim itself. So thanks very much for that. I see, Takov, you've got some questions there to follow up. What I suggest you do is the URL above me, you'll find our blog. You'll find some articles to help get you started in the blog, and you'll also find our YouTube channel in the footer of the site, which has also got a number of tutorials to get you started with taking a container and slimming it down. So you can start with those. That's your 0 to 0 starting point, or 0 to hero even. And
sometimes you go the other way.
Feel free to drop into our Discord and we can continue this conversation and help you on that path. And I know where to find the Linux Server IO community. And like I say, I'm planning to reach out probably either Friday this week or Monday next, because I've got a couple of containers I've been taking a look at over there that I wanted to use by way of example. But thank you for the prompt. We're keen to get involved. So does anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we sign off?
I don't think so. Martin, do we have a preview for next time? Do we? I think next time we're going to try to do our first live coding. Is that right? Or our first example of one of these? Yeah.
So it could be one of many things, but we'll definitely have a deeper dive into a container that we are going to go through the steps of slimming. So Takov, if you're a busy man or person, then come back to the next one. It should be, what day is it today? Tuesday, probably Thursday next week. Check the Twitch schedule to find out when we're doing the next one. And if you haven't had the chance to go through the materials we've already got available, we'll be doing one live, so you can learn that way too. So tell your friends who might be interested as well. They're always welcome to stop by and ask awkward questions. A bit like John has. So John has just asked, do we have any integrations with OpenShift?
The answer is no, not currently. We do have some in our prototype SaaS. We do have some integrations with some of the Red Hat, repositories, but nothing with OpenShift. Kyle, do you know of anything? Did I miss something?
It depends on what they have in mind. So OpenShift integrations, is it for deployment, or is it to use OpenShift as a kind of an environment where there's a bunch of supporting services running? So it'll be good to learn more about that and the nature of the integration.
Okay, John. So if you want to share more information with us, you know where to find us, where our Discord is. We'll be happy to learn more about what you're seeking to do and help you with that. I know John is a long-time Unix and Linux admin. I've seen John around over the years. So there's more questions about OpenShift and Docker and Kates. And Eric from the R podcast is talking about his work he's doing on R and Shiny apps, which is something that we're actively researching and could well feature, Eric. But I think if that's likely to happen, you'll know well in ahead of time, because we'll probably want to bring you in as our resident expert to help with that one.
And we're all excited about that, that opportunity. By the way, the ML and AI community and working with R, I think it's a cool thing to do, and we're on it. We'll get there.
Yeah, you got our attention, Eric. Right. John, where can people find you? No, maybe John didn't hear that. John, where can people find you if they want to connect with you? You.
Yeah, just I'm always in our Discord channel, so if you join there, I'll answer your questions. And I'm John at Slim.AI, so you can find me there. I'm on Twitter. It's I think it's called Amaral_John is my handle there. So pretty easy to find. Feel free to reach out, and I'll always get back to you.
And Kyle, where can people find you?
they can, pretty much find me anywhere on GitHub, Twitter, my information. I think my GitHub profile has the information, and you can get to my GitHub profile by going to the DockerSlim repository.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much, everyone. We'll call it there, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone again in a little over a week's time. We'll have a little bit of a retrospective on DevX Conf as well, I should imagine. So I'm Martin Wimpress. You can find me at m_Wimpress on Twitter. And Pieter?
I'm Pieter Van Orden. You can find me at PSVANN, PSVan, on Twitter.
And we are SlimDevOps, so that's at SlimDevOps on Twitter, and Slim.AI is the URL where you can find the jumping off points to all our other stuff. So thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for coming. Sorry for the stilted start, and I appreciate you all hanging around and joining after our little faux pas at the beginning. So thanks very much for sticking with us, and we'll up the production values next time out.
Thanks everyone. See you later.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Take care. Bye.